Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you doing on this wonderful Wednesday? I had a conversation with a good friend of mine where we talked about, we used to call Wednesdays hump day. How many of you guys remember when we used to call it hump day? Wednesdays was hump day. So we're going to get started and kicked off in a couple of minutes. We're giving Eunice an opportunity to join us. Until she does, just enjoy the music. While I'm over here, let me just quickly talk about something that we're doing. One of the things that we are going to be doing in the new year is we're opening up this session to have a conversation with other small business owners. So I don't have it right here. I'm going to add another. No, I do have it. So over here in the upper right-hand corner, but it's probably left-hand corner to you, is a QR code. And with that QR code, I'm inviting other small business owners to have a conversation with us, right? We want to have a conversation about your trials, your tribulations, things that you have had to do in order to basically not only to get into business, but also to stay in business. One of the things that's different about being an entrepreneur versus being employed is the fact that the paycheck doesn't show up every Friday or every other Friday. One of the things that being an entrepreneur has taught me is that every day, every week, every weekend, you have to go out and get it done. So that's one of the things that you can probably have a conversation about. I don't know if you guys have been watching on the ticker, but inflation is still there. Inflation is still bothering us. It creeped up last month to 2.7%. And as you know, inflation for the most part strips out food and energy, right? And if you had looked and included food and energy, because every time you got to go fill up your car, you can't strip out that unless you are one of those EVs, guys or gals, right? But Eunice, are you ready to come in? You ready? Adding you into the stream.
Good
I was just
afternoon.
telling the audience about our plans for 2025 and the fact that we want to talk to other small business owners so that we could understand their trials and tribulations, their successes, their opportunities. We don't like to say challenges around here. I think challenges just has a negative connotation to it, right?
Yeah, it's
And
more lessons learned.
lessons learned, opportunities. We don't even like to say setback for the most part, but what I did was I shared the QR code with our audience because we want to talk to other small business owners. We want to learn about their business. What are they passionate about with their business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how, if they probably had to do it all over again, would they do it the same exact way that they have previously done it? Or would they make some modifications? So the
Yeah.
QR code, is in the upper right hand corner as I see it, probably left if you're looking at this live or on a recording. But if you scan that QR code, it's going to take you to a Google form where we will capture your information and get back to you to put a date on the calendar. So that's something that we're definitely going to be launching for 2025. But
Yeah.
let's
Um,
get started, right?
yeah, I was about to say, don't be a lonely business owner. It can be lonely out there only because it's just you, your business, and your family. Surround yourself with other business owners, surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, people who understand your journey, if for anything, just for the network and just the chat, right? There's so much that you can learn, that you can share with others, that can really benefit your business. So, scan the QR code if anything, and let's connect and see what we can share and learn from each other as business owners.
Well, let's
All right,
get started.
let's get started.
Welcome, audience, to Business Finance and Infinite Banking with Value Investment Partners. We trade under the name VIP for all of the things that we do. I'm Lee Johnson, co-founder with Value Investment Partners, and we reside here in Loudoun County, Virginia. Eunice?
Well, I'm Eunice, and I'm also the co-founder with my partner Lee. And as mentioned, we are value investment partners. That's what our brand is. That's who we are. And yeah, welcome. Glad to have you here. And let's start the show. What are we talking about today? What do you feel like talking about today? It's the end of the year. I know a couple of people may be thinking, well, we're slowing down. It's the end of the year. However, as Lee just mentioned earlier on, as entrepreneurs, we pretty much have to work and have to make things happen, whether it's beginning of the year or end of the year. So, what do you have in store for us, Mr. Johnson? Are you still there, or did I lose you? Lee, are you there? It looks like I may have lost Lee. I don't see him responding, or all right. So as Lee figures out and tries to reconnect or fix his connection, like I said, it's the end of the year. There's a lot going on. There's a lot that you may be doing and looking to be doing to wrap up the year as well. And for me, or for our business, one of the things that we've been doing is we've been working hard at one, working on our plans for next year. We've been working on our financial plans for next year as well. We've been also looking at our financial status as a family and trying to also work through that to try and figure out where are we now, as well as where are we looking to go in the next year. So we are both looking at our financial sense, both from the business perspective as well as from us as a family, or separately from the business. So those are some of the things that we are working through right now, just to make sure that it's well documented. We've got plans in place. We know what needs to be done. We have it for all these things that that would need to be done, and we're working through all those things to wrap up the year, as well as to potentially um, start the year on a high note as well, right? So from a business perspective, one of the things that we've been really working on right now is we've been working on our marketing plan, and of course assigning a budget to it. And one of the things that we have been talking a lot about is the importance of making sure that as business owners, we really get a handle of the marketing or the advertising of our business. We are not marketing executives or experts by any chance. We are not, we don't have any background in marketing or advertising, but we understand and we know the significance of having that and doing that. We know that without putting our brand out there, then we are as good as a secret business, and that's not who we are. So we've been working towards that and having conversations, of course, with the right people to guide us to make sure that we are allocating the right funds to be in a position where when the year starts, it's all hands on deck, because now we've pretty much laid the foundation, and now the team is just literally just kickstarting and going on with whatever has been set on plan. And I just want to encourage all of you that no matter how big or how small your business is, I know sometimes I meet other business owners who say, well, my business right now is still pretty small, so I really don't have a budget for marketing. And my challenge to you, or my question to you, or what I may encourage you with regards to that, is that as a business, if you are not putting your brand and your business out there, there is no way that you're going to get clients, or you're going to get people that you can work with. So you have to, if anything, that's one of the most critical things in your business that you have to budget for, that you have to have, and that you have to do. You have to make sure that you are putting your business out there, that people know what you do, what service you do, how you work, how to contact you, where to contact you, and what products or services do you offer. Without this information being readily available out there, how else are you going to grow your business or transact or do anything really? So that's what we've been working on. And pretty much we'll continue working on this hopefully for the next week or two. Then we should wrap it up, and then we should be in a good space where we know starting January we're ready to go, we're ready to implement, and we're ready to see success and growth. And a little encouragement really is for you all to say, hey, take the time as things slow down a little bit. Of course, depending on what type of business you're in, but as the year wraps up, take the time to plan for these things. And part of what we also do during this time is also plan to see how else can we improve the cash flow that's coming into the business. And we've talked about this several times, and that one of the things that we really do is buying cash value life insurance policies. As business owners, we understand that if or when one partner passes on, there will be a gap left in the business. If one of the partners or one of the founders is no longer there, we understand and we know the gap that's going to be left in the business. What we do not want is for the business to stop, or for the business to crumble, because now we are no longer able to continue the business. So, one of the things that we have done and that we continue doing from the business is that we have ensured that the business buys insurance for the founders or some of the key people in the business. How does this look like? Well, the way that we do it is that we make sure that every year as we work on every year as we work on the expenses for the business and things that the business needs to be in a position where they're able to pay for, one of the things that we do is we make sure that the business has enough funds to be able to continue paying for these policies. So the business owners, the key people in the business buys an insurance policy owned by the business and they insure some of these key people in the business. This is just to safeguard our business to make sure that there is continuity even when someone has to depart and somebody has passed on. We don't want to be in a position where we are left having to close doors because all of a sudden now this key person has passed on. We are no longer able to get the sales or and now we're no longer able to make money and the business suffers and the business ends up closing. So that's one of the things that I like to also encourage other business owners to say. As you have and own a business, you know what your value is and you know what you bring to the business. What is your plan with regards to continuity of the business in the event that you pass on? We are all going to pass on. We are all at some point going to be in a position where we are no longer able to be a part of the business, whether it's because now we are sick and we're no longer able to do it, or because we have passed away. What are you doing right now when you're still able and capable? What are you doing right now to make sure that there is some type of risk mitigation that you are doing so that when that time comes, your family or whoever is going to be left with the business have options. And when I talk about options, I'm talking about options to continue the business versus where there are no options at all and the business is forced to close or to sell or to just literally just leave everything and no longer have that business that right now you are working so hard for to establish and to grow. To do that, you have to be in a position where right now, when the business is able to buy insurance for those key people in the business to ensure continuity when these people pass away. All right, I think I've said such a lot, and Lee is back. Unfortunately, we lost him for a little while over there. I'm glad that you're back.
One thing about technology is sometimes it doesn't work as you planned. And one of the
Yeah.
things that I wanted to share, and I had opened up a window, was the fact that my computer is still coming online. Was a quote
Mhm.
that says, I was watching a commercial while I was having a cup of tea, and it was an insurance commercial, and it said, it's better to have insurance and not need it than to need it and not have it. Right.
Yeah.
And the way that we are doing and structuring insurance for the most part is a way that I believe that, I wasn't introduced to this concept for many years. I think this concept right now is something that is still fairly new to us, right? But we are learning more and more about it on a daily basis,
Hmm.
right? So we are still growing in this space. But one of the things that I could actually say that we have done is we have actually implemented the policies. We're using and leveraging the policies, right? So we understand what it is and what it is not. And it's not just something that, fly by night, something that we just learned about the other day. And now and now we're coming to others and saying, hey, this is the new fad. Why don't you go and implement it? We're we're doing this. We're tried and tested with this. This is something that we believe actually works, and it's something that we want to bring to our audience just the same.
And I believe we've been very transparent about that aspect. I mean, we've talked about how when we first started the business, of course, we didn't have any insurance for we didn't have any insurance for the key people in the business. We did not have any of that. And as part of growth, we have since learned the importance to of making sure that we have this. And part of that was, now that we learned the importance of having this, we have then gone on to implement it. We've implemented it, and we are happy to say, we are insured under the business, and we are happy to be in a position where we can really say, when one of us passes, the business will still continue, because the business will have some type of fund or monetary um, benefit that will come to the business to keep it afloat for a certain period of time. And that's what is important for almost any business owner as you're building your business, to just make sure that you think about its continuity when you pass. Unless your desire is that you build this business, you build this empire for your business, for yourself, your family. However, when you pass on, you just want everybody to close whatever is there and keep it moving,
Nah,
right?
I don't think that any business owner, with all of the blood, the sweat, the tears that they put into a business, when they are no longer with the business, want to just see it go away and disappear. But one of the things that you've mentioned is that you want to leave that legacy for your your heirs, right? And one of the ways that you can do this is when you have that policy, but also you can leverage that policy for the cash value. We know that, right? But the thing about having a loan out against the cash value of the policy is the fact that the interest rate is lower than what you would be able to get if you went to a credit union or a traditional bank. We know that. And I believe it builds up simple interest versus compounding interest at the same time. So those are things that we have learned about this on our journey. As I mentioned before, we're still learning, but also one of the things that has to be done is that the business is able to purchase insurance for the principals as well, and then that becomes an expense of the business, so it's not coming out of your personal resources. Something that we found and that we will be leveraging in the future as we continue to grow our business and to get additional policies. Just the same, we already have policies on you, me, the children, and we will probably be getting more policies because what we've done is we're building out the Johnson Bank as a whole. One of the things that I was talking about, because I don't know what you said, and I'll have to watch the recording to catch on to what you said. But one of the things that I noticed is that the ticker came out, and I had been mentioning it before you had joined, is that inflation is still a problem in the environment. And it just came out that for the month of November, inflation actually ticked up to 2.7%, right?
Mhm.
When it was falling. And one of the things that I had mentioned is the headline number that is reported, that 2.7, strips out food and energy. And I don't really know why they do this. I'm not an economist by far, but everybody that I know has to eat and fill up their vehicle unless they're driving an EV. But everybody that I know still has to go to the gas station and fill up their vehicle. And that number came in at 3.3% inflation. Inflation is a year over year number that you have to look at, but it's a little bit worrying that when we thought that inflation was under control, inflation still seems to be a problem. And that's going to be very interesting because next week, I believe it's next week, maybe it might even be this week. Today, no, I think it's next week. Could be today. That the Federal Reserve folks are meeting, and they're going to be announcing whether or not if they're going to further reduce the interest rate number that they are responsible for. Let me
Mm-hmm.
these Actually, they're going to be meeting on Wednesday, December 17th and 18th, which is next week, and we will know what the number is going to be and how much they're going to reduce it just the same, which is interesting.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think a lot of people, you know, understand the implication, right? And it is at times like these where, as business owners, we really worry, depending on what your business is about, whether you offer goods, services, but ultimately, our target market, we find people are not in a position where they're able to spend on some of these goods and services. They tend to prioritize what they need to get and what they can hold back on for some time. So, yes, that affects the business community. The question is, as a business owner, what have you done or what are you doing to safeguard yourself from things like this, where now you're going to have limited cash flowing in? What are you going to do, or what have you done, or what are you doing to try and safeguard this to make sure that your business can get over this period?
Yeah, all great things to know about, worry about. You just recently had a closing, and the price, right? Because all of this is tied to the 10-year Treasury, and as I might have mentioned on another caller in conversation, the FOMC started lowering rates in September, and today they have reduced it by, I believe the number is 75 basis
Mhm.
points. But what we have noticed in the market is that interest rates, especially when it's tied to mortgages, have gone up, right? You
Mhm.
would expect that when they lowered rates, rates would then have come down. But I guess the bond market is seeing the future in a different capacity than what the FOMC is seeing it, and they're keeping rates to be elevated. And that's hundreds of dollars more per month that a family, who's in our target demographic, that would be, 400,000, 500,000, 600,000. That's a significant monthly difference in their mortgage payment, which is then probably which is a headwind on people purchasing homes.
That's true. That's true. I think a lot of clients, or a lot of potential clients, have reached out, and some have asked, why is it that rates are still not going? They have, as a matter of fact, this week, I think it started going down a bit, not much, but it did start going down. But I think a lot of people had the assumption that as soon as they go 50 basis points down, then the inverse would be mortgage rates will also go down significantly, or by quite a good number. and we haven't been seeing that. But of course, that's another conversation on its own when we really talk about the best time to buy, whether it makes sense to wait looking at rates, or whether it's a good time to still buy, understanding that prices are not holding off and waiting for rates to go up or down. Prices are still going up, and prices are up for many people even right now. So whether you wait or not, does it really make much of a difference? But that's a conversation, like I said, for another day. I think what is just critical is making sure that we inform our clients of where the environment is at, and making informed decisions where we can even run a couple of numbers, a couple of scenarios for you to get an appreciation of where you are now to make a better or a more informed decision, versus just assuming that, oh, I'm going to wait for the rate to go down without looking at other aspects that also affect the process.
Well, one of the things that we try to communicate to our audience is it's very difficult to time the market, right? And if
Yeah.
you look at, let's just use two or three different data points, but most homes that were built or purchased in 2000, those homes, from a value perspective, are higher today. That wasn't the case in 2010, right? Because we had 2008 when the market basically dropped out. But if you purchased a house in 2000 or you purchased a house in 2010, probably for the most part, and I would probably wager to say 99% or better, 99% or better, that home has grown in value. And for those people who did purchase, they have a certain amount of equity in it at this point in time. And that equity can be leveraged for a number of different things. It should not be leveraged for going on things like vacations, etc. It should be leveraged to basically be put back into some other type of investment that is actually going to allow it to grow just the same. And those are conversations that we have all the time. I know that we are at time. One of the things that I wanted to also be sure to communicate is there was a pending deadline for the Corporate Transparency Act. There has been a stay on having to file if you haven't filed, but if you own an entity, an LLC, a corporation, etc., there was a mandate that you would have to file for that. Let the government know what your entity was and who the owners are. That has been paused at the moment because there was someone brought a case and it was deemed to be unconstitutional, right? I think that it might just be something that's going to be temporary, but there's probably going to be an appeal by the government in order to have that move forward. But there's a reprieve for those who are a little bit nervous, because I understand that the penalties were going to be quite severe for people who did not register on December 31, 2024. But now they have that reprieve at the same time and they don't have to register. I don't see that we have too many people who are following us at this point in time. So I want to say that we'll be back again next Wednesday, right? Same time, same place, and that's probably going to be the last time we're going to go live this year, just because the holidays will be in front of us. But we're here to let you know that, hey, if there's anything that we could help you with from a business perspective, from a financing perspective, from a business credit building perspective, in the upper right hand corner, as I see it, you can go and scan your business, right, to tell you how fundable your business is, right, and then schedule some time with us so that we can finish that conversation with you. If your business isn't where it should be fundable at that point in time, we could help you to figure that out. But also, if you wanted to use life insurance policy as a vehicle for funding your business at times of highs and lows, we could help you with that at the same time. Eunice, is there anything that you have for the audience before we go?
No, thanks for those of you who are able to join in. I know a couple of you have said they usually watch the recording, so thank you. And as always, if you have or when you have questions, please do reach out to us. We always have time to share. This platform really is about us being in a position where we're able to share our experiences and to help other business owners like ourselves to continue growing our businesses and doing the things that we are passionate about.
No,
Right.
perfect way to end it. Uh, thank you, community. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. Hopefully, there will not be any technical difficulties, but Eunice had the entire platform just to talk to you for the 5 or 10 minutes that I was gone. It felt like 20 minutes, but it might have been 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I didn't do that on purpose.
I hope not.
All right. Until
All right.
next time,
Thank
be
you. Next
well.
time. Bye
We'll
bye.
talk soon. Bye for now.